Yes?
Mr. Shimming, my name's Murphy, and I'm looking into the apparent suicide of one of your employees.
Is this an official investigation?
If you're a nice guy and play ball with me, I think we can keep this thing off the record.
I believe it's within my rights to ask for whom you work.
I don't work for anybody. I'm working with Wanda Peck.
So, you're with Capricorn. I thought you people had gotten tired of pestering me.
We never get tired of pestering. That's our motto.
What is it you want this time? No one by the name of Carl Linsky has ever been on Gideon Enterprises' page. Mr. Gideon founded this corporation and brought it to prominence. And he did this despite mediocre business skills, which have diminished along with his general mental state over the past several years. He became obsessed with pet projects and was leading the company in a counterproductive direction. For that reason, the board of directors saw fit to limit his authority in business matters.
So what does Mr. Gideon think about all of this?
Why don't you ask him yourself? I'm sure he'd appreciate a visit from someone other than nurses and wheelchair repairmen. I'll let you know where to find him. I don't know who that is. We are the world's foremost innovator and implementer of security surveillance systems. We are also the parent company for dozens of smaller firms, ranging from computer chip makers to research facilities. Professionally, I strive to do what the board of directors pays me to do, run this corporation as effectively and profitably as possible. My personal life is none of your business. We have many small subsidiary companies. If I remember correctly, STG was research-based and probably more of a write-off than anything. I know it is no longer in existence and was unimportant, to say the least. I respect the work Capricorn does, which is the only reason I'm talking to you now. To my knowledge, Gideon Enterprises has done nothing to warrant a Capricorn investigation. Chess was and is a common motif in Gideon Enterprises, owing to Mr. Gideon's avid interest in the game. I have no interest in it myself. I know John Klaus, but only socially. I'll have to take your word that the other man is Carl Linsky. I've never seen him before in my life.
You actually met Jason Gideon? In person?
Yeah. Want my autograph?
Well, what was he like? What about the mansion? Oh, I heard it was spectacular.
A little garish for my taste, but nice. The mansion, on the other hand...
Very funny.
little flat you've got here.
You must find it ostentatious. I admit I do as well. It's certainly too much home for only one person.
You don't live here alone, do you?
I'm afraid so. My fortune has provided me with a fully automated, self-sufficient existence. I suppose my disability has given me an aversion to reliance on others. I want for nothing, except perhaps human companionship, and that only after my somewhat forced semi-retirement.
Well, don't you worry about your safety. I mean, given your condition.
Gideon Enterprises defines state-of-the-art with regard to security systems. I'm surrounded, perhaps imprisoned, by the very finest electronic moat. No, I don't worry about my safety, though I thank you for your concern. Now, to what do I owe this welcome visit?
I'm investigating the death of Carl Linsky. He was an employee in your corporation.
Oh, no, Gideon Enterprises is no longer mine, I'm afraid. I'm sure that Frank Shimming would be a better source of information than I.
I already talked with Frank Shimming. He was about as helpful as a DMV employee in the middle of his 2-week notice.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. I won't mince words. I don't like Shimming. My complete trust in him was repaid with his exploiting my lack of management acumen, then usurping my position as head of Gideon.
But you're still president of the corporation.
Yes. I have no more real authority to run my company than the King of England has to run his country. I'm merely a figurehead, nothing more.
Why don't you just sack him, as the English say?
Even if I could, what would be the point, huh? My time is past. I'm as outdated as this antique. Such is the cutthroat nature of business. Though I dare say the world itself has become nothing more than a business run by a select few.
I'm not sure I agree, Mr. Gideon. I think there are a lot of people out there who want to make the world a better place.
Oh? And you, my fine friend, how do you intend to make the world a better place?
I don't know. Keep an open mind, respect others, buy Girl Scout cookies.
You think this will make a difference?
I think if enough people care, it just might catch on.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I used to think like you at one time. But idealism costs nothing, and I lived on it for many years. But its taste is bittersweet. It's in large part the reason why I can no longer walk. You'd like to hear what happened, wouldn't you?
I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable.
Oh, I've been in this damn cage for more years than I care to remember. I've had to grow accustomed to it. It was 2013. I was in Geneva to attend a covert meeting of UN operatives. There were 14 of us, and at least one was a traitor, armed with an explosive device. I was the only survivor.
Did you ever find out who it was?
No. It could have been any one of a score of countries or organizations. Well, I don't suppose it matters anymore. It was the beginning of the end. There are no heroes anymore, only villains of varying degrees.
What about Capricorn? You support what they do, don't you?
Oh, Capricorn does what they do, but they're merely fighting the good fight. Oh, greed and corruption have the upper hand. When I was younger, I sincerely believed we could achieve a semblance of global order and harmony. That was only the foolish dream of a youthful idealist. Once I was crippled, I was no longer of use. No, I was turned loose into the world. A cruel and deadly steeplechase where survival was a matter of social Darwinism. I was lost. I believed that my handicap had denied me my destiny. Years and years passed before I realized that I still had much to offer. With little more than a plan, I laid the foundations of Gideon Enterprises. Among the mutant population, I found other social misfits whose skills and talents had been overshadowed by their physical abnormalities. Oh, those were difficult times. We were openly ridiculed. Finding investors and financing was an often humiliating series of rejections. How could someone like myself, a cripple, ever hope to accomplish such a venture? But eventually, we did succeed. Becoming the wealthiest and most powerful corporation of its type in the world. I had recaptured the idealism of my youth, the belief that through sacrifice, commitment, and hard work, anything was possible. But then it happened again. In the blink of an eye, all those years of investment and careful nurturing were torn from me by thieves and liars masquerading as board members and stockholders. And now, towering over them all is Frank Shimming. His disregard for integrity is matched only by his worship of dividends and profit margins. So nothing has happened. I have come full circle. And once again, I'm unwanted, unneeded, and facing a purposeless existence. So you listen to me. If you insist on striding through life, arms laden with hope, you will only meet with one devastating disappointment after another. Oh, please forgive me, Mr. Murphy. You must be a very busy man. I must apologize for monopolizing your time with my ramblings.
I don't mind.
Oh, it's good of you to indulge me. Just that I receive so few visitors these days. But we must return to your investigation. Please, tell me what I can do to assist you. I only know, I should say knew, him by reputation. He was an outstanding neurologist in his time. I read about his suicide in the newspapers. I don't want you to pity me, Mr. Murphy. I have enough creature comforts to make life worth living. I feel like a parent whose child has left the nest. I created Gideon Enterprises, nursed it and raised it to adulthood. And now it's left me with an empty home and too many hours in the day. Mr. Valdez runs a chess shop called the Rank and File in the old city. We play quite often over the Ethernet. Yes. He's one of the few worthy opponents I've found. In chess terminology, a poisoned pawn is the bait in a trap. Whoever is going by that name probably considers him or herself a sacrificial lamb, so to speak. I'm afraid I haven't heard of it. The Law and Order Party is merely a Machiavellian byproduct of our society's decay. Their goals are not altogether unworthy, but those ends do not justify their means. But unfortunately, they've struck a chord with the public. And with an appealing candidate like Robert Knott, they will surely gain a great deal of power. This is Carl Linsky? Oh, I only knew him by name, and I didn't recognize the other man. I don't know who he is. I sometimes feel that Capricorn is the last bastion of sanity in the world. Their efforts are laudable, but futile. Ah, chess is my only diversion. Oh, if you care to play, I'd be glad to teach you a thing or two about the game.
The rank and file was right in the middle of the old city.
Wasn't this back when they still called it the Freak Town?
Yeah, the Mutant League was in high gear at the time, and the whole mutant norm thing was just starting to heat up. I got more than a few nasty looks when I showed up at the chess shop. How's the game going?
Welcome to the rank and file. What can I do for you?
Well, Jay St. Gideon got tired of kicking my butt and suggested I come down here for a few pointers on my chess game.
Mr. Gideon can make anyone's chess game look shabby. What seems to be the problem?
Well, my biggest problem is I can't seem to remember how these little horsies move.
Call this a hunch. But you're not here to ask me about chess, are you? What do you want?
My name's Tex Murphy. I'm a private investigator.
Look, I don't want any trouble.
I'm a friend of Jay St. Gideon's.
Oh, if you're a friend of Mr. Gideon's, you're a friend of mine. How can I help you? Nice guy. He used to come in here occasionally. I read in the paper that he killed himself. It's too bad. Not is the pretty facade that disguises the law and order party's war machine. Mr. Gideon's been a friend of the mutants for years, unlike most people in his social strata. He's a great man. It makes me angry as hell to think what Shimming did to him. Why are you asking about me? I'm just a source of information to someone like you. Poisoned pawn is a chess term. It refers to an apparently unprotected pawn. whose capture leads to dire consequences. If I had to guess, I'd say the author of the anonymous letter felt like he was the first link in a dark chain. I haven't heard anything about it. He's more than a bad man. He's evil. To someone like him, money and power are everything. Back when I was a programmer, I worked there for a couple of years, until shimming took over. Everything changed for the worse. It was like working under Stalin. You know what the Law and Order Party is? It's the Fourth Reich. They won't rest until every mutant is deported, imprisoned, or dead. I recognize Linsky, of course, but I don't know the other person. Though I think I may have seen him with Frank Shimming years ago. Capricorn is about the last organization in the world that considers us mutants to be human beings. I think there's a battle brewing between them and the Law and Order Party. Life is a chess game, and Law and Order has all the power pieces. I'm really not familiar with that. Don't know him. Don't know him.
TEX MURPHY here.
Are you investigating the death of Carl Linsky?
Well, it depends. Who's asking?
A friend. Just a friend.
You're not calling to see whether I need my carpets cleaned, are you?
No.
So what do you need?
The question is, what do you need?
Well, good home-cooked meal would be nice, but other than that, I need a lead.
A University of San Francisco professor, Val Davis, died in a speeder crash last week.
That's interesting, but it's not much of a lead, is it?
Davis was working on the STG project with Linsky.
Okay. Now you've got my attention.
There are answers to be found in Davis's laboratory on the USF campus, Building C. If you get there within the hour, the doors will be unlocked.
Okay, I'm on my way, but what am I looking for?
The chess move. I'll be watching. When you find it, I'll contact you again.
Ooh, intriguing. So who was the mysterious informant?
I had no idea at the time.
You're not going to tell me, are you?
I'll tell you this. I didn't waste any time getting over to the USF campus and into Val Davis's lab. Sure enough, it was unlocked, and I started looking around.